It does.
It does.
So let me ask this. I have issues frequently with cars when I'm dividing up parties' assets or helping clients determine who's going to be responsible for what car payment. And so there oftentimes are cars that are in the joint name of both the husband and the wife. And the wife is going to keep that car. She's going to keep that car payment. But the husband can't come off that debt because it's very difficult to refinance a car. So from a personal injury standpoint, if the wife gets the car and the wife is making all the payments, everything's up to date, she has her own insurance on just her because the husband's not responsible for that car. What is the personal injury aspect liability to that spouse who's still jointly titled and jointly obligated to the debt, but is really not according to the divorce decree?
Yeah, well, it's because a lot of times we name as many parties as possible, right? If, like, let's say somebody that wasn't the owner of the car, let's say it was the wife, crashed into one of my clients, I would be sending out something for the owner of the car and the driver of the car because she lent them that car, the dangerous can't say the word, instrumentality to crash into somebody else. However, at that point, we would have to show if it was flipped around, it was my client, which I don't do defense work, but if it was the other way around, I would show the divorce decree to say, yes, even though the title may be under that person's name, they didn't lend the car to the person. They actually gave the car to the person, but the lender, that they can't force the lender to refinance the car because their credit might be bad.
Right.
So that would be more of a defense, an insurance defense thing. But if I was on the other side, that's what I would.
You'd be suing everybody.
I sue everybody. I sue everybody because I would say, well, no, that's the wife's car and he's the driver, and they're both liable because he lent the car to the person. And then they would have to fight it later on. Say, no,
here's my divorce decree. She's holding me harmless from any damage.
Exactly.
So does that work? That language, I put that language all the time in there. Wife shall indemnify and hold harmless the husband from this vehicle.
We would still bring him in. I would still bring them in, and then later on, if we get a judgment against either party, and then one can identify the other, that's not my problem. So I mean, hopefully that works out that way, but many times we want to go after whoever has the insurance. So like if the insurance was still under the wife's name, well, that's her fault. She should have transferred the insurance to the husband, even though the car was in her in. You know, you can still transfer insurance even though the car might be in somebody else's name.
Right.
You just separate the property damage from the, from the actual.
Okay.
Because that does happen quite a bit. You know.
It's very common. I have lots of people with cars and debts. I mean, debts are very difficult to divide, and it affects. Let's say it was a credit card of yours, and you charged it all up during the marriage. Or you bought your wife a beautiful diamond ring. She's gonna keep the ring, and you're gonna keep the debt. Or let's say, look, that's your ring. You keep the ring, wife, but you gotta finish paying it off to Jared.
Yeah. And
she pays for a little bit after the divorce, but then she stops paying Jared. Well, Jared doesn't care. Jared's got your credit.
Exactly.
So dividing up debt, you want to be really careful on a divorce and make sure that you run a credit report before you sign any final divorce paperwork, and you know what's on your credit. And if it's on your credit, you want to make sure that you get that paid somehow. You don't necessarily rely on your spouse to pay it because they're supposed to pay.